Hello, boys and girls. I had a young lady ask me to help her figure out and show her some ancient Indian secrets for doing a belt like this right here. This is an inlaid beaded belt into, then you've got your tooling that you'll do for your customer here, like I did for my belt. Now, the easiest thing to do is to get your customer either to bring you the belt or take this measurement. And let's see if I can go all the way over. Yep, I can go all the way from where the belt folds over at, right there. We want to start that measurement right there. And then we're going to go to the hole that he or she uses it in all the time, which you can tell by looking at their old belt, or they'll know by the one that's got the most wear in it right here. Now, as the belt gets older, it gets this little wave to it. That's just leather. It actually kind of stretches a little bit. Let's see how much this one here stretched. About a 1/4 inch. That's 38 inches from that fold over part here to that center hole. Now you're going to do the same thing on your new piece. Of course, this one's already cut and tipped and everything, but you'll get the gist. You've got these marked at there. There's your slot for your buckle, if it has one. So you'll come over here and you'll take your 38 inches and you'll make your mark for your center hole on the tip side. Now, while you've got that there, you want to take half of 38, which is 19, and you come over here and that'll be your center mark, which I'm going to use just my fingernail to kind of scratch that. And to show you what I'm talking about, you'll also be able to measure on an older belt. You can see where that back belt loop has been pulling all the time. So that's how you know you are in the middle of their back. That's the hardest thing, or the most important thing to do on these belts, is to get that in the middle, because if you don't, well, then your beadwork won't be in the middle, and then it'll be off back here. When people are, looking at your work, they'll say, "Hey, wait a minute, that's all cockeyed. You don't want that." So there's that part, and there's how you get this. Now you've got your bead maker that's going to make your 1 inch, and this one here is about 17 inches, 16 inches maybe. That's between you and your bead maker. And of course, the bigger the belt, for the bigger the person, the more of this you want back there. So that it at least gets back to the, his hips, if that makes sense. So if you've got, 19? So half of 19 would be what? 8 and 8, 16. Oh, so 9 and 9 is 18. So you want about 9 inches either way, maybe. That way it'll get you about halfway around the back side of him. And then the tooling part can go up to the front, up here. So once you figure that out, you'll get your top piece, and you'll cut out that 1 inch by whatever your beadwork is. You'll cut that out. You want to leave yourself a 1/4 inch on either side, so that you have got room to sew everything together. So now you've got this cut out. You set this aside and tool this. Tool this section over here. Okay, and then I like to use the same thickness lining as I do the top belt on these, simply because it'll make it sturdier back here where this beadwork is. Remember, there's no leather you know, this has all been cut out. So you want a good heavier lining as opposed to the real thin flimsy stuff like you might do on a regular belt. Just because that you don't want your, you can see how it's puckered up right here, but that's puckered up from being worn. This is probably a 6-month-old belt that I use on the daily. And sometimes I'll use it outside and be covered in sweat and stuff like that. So anyway, once you get that tooled and everything and cut, you come in here, you find your center, and then you go ahead and make a 1-inch mark, and then you get you some of this 2-sided tape. See how thick that tape is? They use it for like hanging pictures and stuff at Walmart. You can lay that down. It's 1 inch wide, just like your beadwork. You can lay that down here. Once you've marked out where your beads are going to go. And then you get the rest of it and glue, get it glued in place, get it glued and ready to get in place. And then you can come in here and you'll concentrate on lining up the tooled piece that's got the hole. You want to get it over the beadwork and get that glued down first, like so, like so. Make sure you got enough glue for this little 1/4 inch to stay in place. That's going to be important. And then you'll glue the rest of it over here. Now, before you take it to the big sewing machine, I take mine to my little Singer 3115 over there, which you can barely see over there in the corner. And I'll just sew over the top of that beadwork one time. You see, it's not straight, it's not pretty, but guess what? You can't see it from here. Maybe if you look close, you might be able to see a few threads here and there. But the thing to remember on that 3115 is to use your ski foot, a flat foot, as opposed to the roller foot, and then to back your tension off just a bit so you're not putting a mash to those beads. And I doubt you'll ever get that needle to break one of these rounded beads, from striking it. It'll deflect enough like you need it to, and that's probably why there's some crooked in here in different places. So now, in fact, you can see where my beads and that tape end at right there. And right here, it's not so bad. All right, so now that you've done all that, you've got all this glued together again. Now you take it to your bigger machine and do that with it and sew around the edge. You got to be real good right here. And then voila, you come back and punch your holes and put your snaps in, and you're done. Okie doke. I hope that gives you a good idea of what to do. All right, now there's something on here what the hell? I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, so there's my little tutorial, or whatever you want to call it, on how I figured out how to get that beadwork to stay. There's your secret ingredient right there, Alexis. Ancient Indian secret. Of course, I don't do the beadwork. I buy that already done because I don't have the patience to sit there and do all that. Anyway, there you go, kids. Y'all have a good day. Toodaloo! Bob Shilley, you know exactly where I found that 3115, young man. I bought it from you. Oh, Alexis, you weren't supposed to see this. I'm supposed to put it on my YouTube, and then you're supposed to see it. But, oh, well, too late now. Rob McIntosh, Semmelweis. What the hell is Semmelweis? Oh, send me a price. If you bring the beadwork, you're paying me about I think about $300 to do something like this, Rob. That's me doing the tooling, putting the beadwork in like that, and finishing you out a belt to wear. All right, kids, let me see if there's any other comments. Nope. All right, y'all go have a good night. Now, remember, find me on YouTube for David Mills Saddlery. I think my username was Turbo2, the number 2, Texas. As well as my webpage of davidmillssaddlery.com, because you never know when Facebook's going to get mad at me and run me off. All right, toodaloo, buggeroos.